to Season 2 of Vols Society Live on this muggy July evening. My name is David Morrison. I am the Vols Society lead analyst right here on the Vols Society Network. We're all over social media tonight, facebook.com/UT Society. We're live on YouTube at youtube.com/Vols Society and on Twitter at Society Vols. If you're watching along right now, share out the link. Let's get a lot of viewers in here. Exciting night tonight. Like I said, not only this is our Season 2 premiere, we've had a couple of weeks off. We've changed the background a little bit here and there. Hope you got to watch that little behind-the-scenes video of that yesterday. And we're also going to be, like I said, talking Tennessee's athletics, particularly Tennessee football in general. Let's go ahead and run down the lineup for tonight. We're going to be talking about unfortunately, starting off a little bit of the bad news. We're going to talk about the violations at the University of Tennessee that implicated from the previous coaching staff. We'll dive into that a little bit tonight. Plus, we'll recap SEC Media Days that took place down in Atlanta. We'll dive into that. And then we're going to talk about who is on Tennessee's Mount Rushmore. So I teased this last week on the Vols Society Summer Break Update. Who is on Tennessee's Mount Rushmore? Hopefully, Alex, I'll give you my opinion, and hopefully you can chime in as well. Like I said, the comments are the chat room, I beg your pardon, is open right now. Leave your comments wherever you're watching us. Leave questions, comments, whatever you will have on your heart, and we'll try to answer it along the way. All right, so let's go ahead and get these allegations out of the way. So Tennessee this past week was notified that previous head coach Jeremy Pruitt was responsible for 18 violations from a variety of different things. According to the Knoxville News Sentinel, what they provide to us, my opinion is on I'll just say it's about the violations. We heard about this, right at the tail end of Jeremy Pruitt's tenure, with the McDonald's bags and the painted players, but we just didn't know the significance of it, with current players on that time, and where it was going to go. And we saw that Tennessee did not self-impose a bowl ban once Jeremy Pruitt was ousted and entered Josh Heupel. Of course, basically the University of Tennessee took a big gamble for $60,000. That's what the final total came out to with Jeremy Pruitt, and and some of the coaching, some of Jeremy Pruitt's coaching staff members was part of that. Probably the biggest shock to me was Jeremy Pruitt's wife, Casey Pruitt, was kind of involved in this. It was just very bizarre. You never really hear a coach's wife be a part of a program as far as like recruits and stuff. It's just unheard of, but it's just kind of what it is. According to the Knoxville News Sentinel, this was posted yesterday. It's just like I said, Casey Pruitt, Jeremy's wife, gave a player $12,500 in cash and car payments and $3,000 for cash and rental payments. So that's crazy to think a coach's wife would do that. And like I said, I'll also paid some stuff for this player's mother. I did read somewhere that like one of the players received the payments that was going to commit to us, didn't end up not committing to us after all. So it's just a big mess of what Jeremy Pruitt did. And like I said, fast forward, over a year later, hell to my grandparents watching along. But, fast forward over a year later, almost now 2 years later, this entire staff and the entire administration staff at the University of Tennessee, they're no longer there anymore. And that's why we keep talking about each and every week how much Danny White, Chancellor Plowman, Randy Boyd have done a fantastic job saving this athletic program, and you're seeing results even produce onto the field. So, like I said, it's just a big mess. I don't see any major sanctions coming from the NCAA, especially now we're in the days of NIL, and another former Tennessee coach, Lane Kiffin, said pretty much we just announced that cheating is legalized or whatever, which paying players has always been around forever, but that's another story for another day. Like I said, I don't see anything major coming out. Maybe some scholarship reductions, if that, because Tennessee did all they could to clean up this big mess that we had. Jeremy Pruitt was let go. Philip Fulmer stepped down. And then Beverly Davenport, even though she technically wasn't part of that, but she was kind of in the John Currie era. All of this Game of Thrones backstabbing in the Tennessee athletic department is nowhere. They're all gone now. I mean, like I said, there's great communication, great chemistry, great leadership right now in the Tennessee athletic department. It starts with the AD, Danny White. It goes through Chancellor Donnie Plowman, goes through Randy Boyd. I mean, it's just so much better. And I'm just ready for this whole thing to get put back in the rearview mirror. So that's just kind of my overall thoughts of it. And, we'll see what happens. I don't see Jeremy Pruitt ever coaching college football again. I think he's with the New York Giants right now, so he can stay in the NFL if he wants to. But I just don't see this ever happening. I know there was some discussion: is this the worst hire in SEC football history? I think it's right up there. I know some people were talking about who was at Arkansas before Sam Pittman got there. Kevin tuning in tonight. Hello, Kevin. Says, yep, we nailed it quick out with the old and then with the new. Absolutely. Like I said, Tennessee, they hit the reset button big time. And I know we've hit the reset button quite a few times in the last 15 years or so. But, this was a big reset. I mean, we reset every button and everybody's gone. And now, like I said, we got great leadership now at Tennessee. So there's my thoughts on it. Founder Brad says, go Vols. Season 2 is going to be great. Absolutely. Like I said, this is season 2 of Vol Society Live tonight. Like I said, thank you for everybody tuning in so far. And thank you for your support and getting Tennessee football back going. All right, so let's talk about some good stuff. We got through the muckety muck right there. Let's talk about SEC Media Days, kind of recapping that. New look, new season from the founder, Brad. Yes. Recapping SEC Media Days down in Atlanta. Just your typical talking season. The big clip from Josh Heupel's press conference that the media is kind of running with is, about the muster bottle and golf balls. He hadn't signed any muster bottles or golf balls. Of course, Lane Kiffin was down there doing that. But Josh Heupel wished he had a golf ball that night of the Ole Miss game, which was pretty humorous for the most part. But, just listening to his press conference, I really like what Coach Heupel was just laying out the vision at Tennessee. Wasn't using a lot of cliche words. He was just being very real, being very blunt. Like I said, he believes in this team. He believes he can win championships at Tennessee. And, I totally believe it. I totally think we can get there. And just kind of, if you look at the SEC East in general, outside of Georgia, there's still some good teams the rest of the way. That just needs just something to get them in the right direction. South Carolina, and I'm going to talk about some of our rivals, but, teams like South Carolina, Kentucky, and Georgia, and us, we have the foundation, we have the facilities. You just need to put the wins out there, and the fan base is going to be there either way. Brad says, all I know is Heupel is looking confident. I'm telling you, this team is going to be exciting this year. I truly believe so. This is going to be a very fun season, not only for Tennessee, but I'm excited for a lot of teams in the SEC. Of course, I want Tennessee to, rise to the top and get where Georgia and Alabama is and get there quicker before these other teams. But really, just a lot of teams in the SEC. I'm kind of excited just to see trending in the right direction. Like I said, Tennessee is right there in the thick of things. Kind of shifting into the team breakdown. You look at Hendon Hooker coming back. Kevin says, agree 100%, 110%. Brad says 10 wins. We lose to Georgia and Bama. That's where I am. So Brad's going 10-2. I'm still good. I'm still leaning at 9-3. I still think that LSU game is going to be tough. But, you look at starting with quarterback Hendon Hooker, 31 touchdowns and 3 interceptions last year. Great season for, hardly taking the field in the first game against Bowling Green and the first half against Pittsburgh. And he still put up some great numbers, just took this offense and ran with it physically and theoretically. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I know a lot of people saying he's a dark horse Heisman contender. I think he can get there. He probably needs to improve his touchdown touchdown ratio up a little bit more, and he's going to have to beat one of the two big dogs. And I'm talking about Georgia or Bama to really get there. Brad says Hooker is the key. He could have a breakout year. Yeah, absolutely. And you look at the rest of the offense, the wide receiving core, I'm very excited about. Obviously with Cedric Tillman's leading the way, 1,000-yard receiving season after for the first 3 years. He only had like 7 career catches, and then he just totally broke out. Excited for him. I'm excited to see maybe what Jalen High can do. There was a lot of hype on him last year. Matter of fact, he was on the preseason magazine cover in the 2021 season, just never kind of lived up to that. But, another year in Josh Heupel's offense, can he establish himself to be a number 2 receiver? Brew McCoy is another one. Brad's going agrees with me. He says Cedric Tillman will be good again, but the guy to watch for is Brew McCoy. I'm telling you, yeah, Brew McCoy, the transfer from USC. He hasn't played a whole lot of college football due to a mixture of COVID, and then he had an off the field issue. But everything is cleared up, and now just kind of a fresh start for him. Former 5-star wide receiver. I'm excited to see can Brew McCoy establish in this offense very well. Like I said, Tennessee lost. Like I said, Velus Jones Jr. is now off to the NFL, and now we got now we got to find who's going to be kind of that slot receiver. Miss K in the house. She says, "Well, that other crazy coach has got us in trouble. We may not be offered a bowl game, or it could be no scholarships in the future. Even his wife did stuff. They got us in trouble. My, what's next?" Yeah. I don't see a bowl ban per se. I still think maybe some scholarship reductions, because I think we did everything on our end to get rid of him. And it's just going to be interesting to see how the NCAA kind of implicates it the way we're in this new era of college football, but you never know. Brad talking about Brew McCoy says, this guy is a stud. He will be good for us. And then he chimed in and said, wrong, nothing serious will happen. Minor penalty. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Kind of breaking down the rest of this team, the running backs is going to be a very interesting to watch this year with Jabari Small, Jalen Wright. I still, Miss K says, I hope you're right. Small and Wright. Justin William Thomas, I'm very excited about, but he is a true freshman. Who else may step up? Could Whitehead have another year? Can improve in the offense? Tennessee, I saw that they were still looking at some graduate transfers in the running back transfer portal that can still come to Tennessee. I know they're looking at a kid from Central Michigan, Kobe something. I think Kobe Brown was his name. And then I saw a little blip of a Nebraska player. So depth is going to be a big issue. Like I said, we talked about this before when Tyjon Evans entered the transfer portal midway through the season. It really it was a big blow for us in the running game. Like I said, Hendon Hooker did all he could. As a matter of fact, he ended up leading the team in rushing attempts at the end of the season. And then you end up having Small banged up throughout the entire year, but he fought through it. Jalen Wright was a true freshman last year. And now another year of football coming up on them. Like I said, who's going to step up in the running game? Offensive line, I'm not too worried about. Like I said, Darnell Wright is an all SEC lineman. He's played a lot of Tennessee football. And he's seen a lot at UT. So I'm excited to see what he does. Cooper Mays is on this line. Spraggins, Jerome Carvin, very underrated player, doesn't get a lot of recognition. I know he was named to one of the All SEC media teams. Brad says right put weight on folks from last year. Okay, great. Yeah, like I said, he was pretty small for a running back, so hopefully getting a year in the conditioning program really will help out. But this offense overall is just going to be like last year. It's going to be very explosive. They're going to put up a lot of points. Main thing is to stay healthy. But even last year, production really didn't drop off, even with the injuries so much. And of course, a lot of that has to do with the maestro Hendon Hooker at quarterback leading the way, and Tillman and stuff. But we were still putting up good numbers and still had players feeling confident running this offense. And we've seen year after year of just production dropping because of injuries, because you had a lot of guys coming in learning on the fly, and it just never really worked out. And it's going to be very interesting. Brad says, O-line I feel good about. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. And, of course, we didn't even talk about Gerald Mincey, transfer from Florida, could be on that lineup too. Brad says, defense is the key, folks. We got to be better than last year. Yeah, let's talk about the defense. To me, the big concern on the defense is going to be between the linebackers and the defensive backs. The defensive line, I feel good about. We talked about Rodney Gardner, the best defensive line coach in the nation. I love Byron Young. I love his story. Former assistant, Dollar General manager, now an all SEC football player. Brad says we have stud ends. Absolutely. I love him. The middle is really good with Omari Thomas plugged in the middle. But like I said, to me, the big concern is going to be between the linebackers and the defensive backs. Jeremy Banks, I like Jeremy Banks. He's been at Tennessee a long time also. He's going into his 6th season, and I think he's going to lead the team in tackles. I love the other ones. You'll see if Jawan Mitchell can get healthy this year. I'm hearing good things about him. Brad says we need to focus on those D-backs. We need them to be good. Absolutely. A lot of question marks, in my opinion. Of course, last year we kind of had that too with Alontae Taylor. I think we kind of put too much hype on the defensive backs last year, because when we saw that, oh my goodness, Brandon Turner's just coming, and from Alabama, we're going to be good. Now here comes Kamal Haddon from Auburn. Oh my goodness, everybody's coming to Tennessee. I think we put a lot of stock on it, and it kind of burned us. Miss K says the whole team needs to be good. Yes, absolutely. And I think for the most part they will be. But you look at Warren Burrell as probably the number one corner at this point. Played a lot of games, but kind of got burned a lot. Then you look at who else is going to line up with him. Do you move Turnage to the corner? Do you move, do you put Kamal Haddon, who got burned in the bowl game last year? Do you trust him on the corners? The safeties, you got Trevin Flowers. I feel good about Trevin Flowers. I think he's probably going to fit that role where Theo Jackson was last year. And just a few others. Andre Turntine from a transfer from Ohio State. Where does he fit into it? Wesley Walker from Georgia Tech is another transfer. It's just that it's going to be interesting to see how Josh Heupel gets these guys set up as far as where he sees them on the depth chart. And like I said, fall camp opens next week for Tennessee. That's something that I'm sure is going to be a lot of questions asked, and a lot of media is going to be looking at, is the defensive backs, is how they've improved. Of course, I know they're going to be looking at Hendon Hooker and Cedric Tillman and, the stars, but that's my biggest concern, is those defensive backs and even the linebackers. Like I said, you're going to be going up against a lot of teams that's going to be passing the ball throughout the year, especially when week 2, when we go to Pittsburgh. While Pittsburgh Panthers from last year has completely changed from last year than this year because they lost Kenny Pickett to the NFL, Jordan Addison to USC. Their offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple's going to Nebraska. But still, this is can be a very explosive offense that we can go up against. Personally, I still think we can get the win, but can our defense really hang into there? And then, even the rest of the SEC still don't, we'll find out a lot about Pittsburgh in week 1 along with Florida. Going in when we face them, but Anthony Richardson is a good quarterback. Billy Napier's kind of an offensive mind. So what is he going to throw out there for them? Don't know much. We kind of know what we know with Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, but how's his offense going to implicate at LSU? Alabama and Georgia, we really know. Kentucky's going to be very interesting as far as where they're going to throw at us offensively with Will Levis at quarterback and Chris Rodriguez at running back. So it's going to be very, like I said, the defense is going to have to really step up, especially on third down. Third downs, we got burned a whole lot last year. It's been kind of a trend the last several years, not getting off on third down. Like I said, we got to win the third down battles and get this offense really going. Because, like I said, it's kind of like I said, it's a tale of two ends right here. You have an explosive offense that can score in a minute or 2 minutes, and meanwhile your defense is on the field for over 10 plays. So going to be fascinating to see what's going to transpire in that. Any questions on the team in general? Special teams should be good. Chase McGrath back at kicker. Paxton Brooks also at punter. Don't know who's going to return the ball this year. I've heard there was rumblings that maybe Squirrel White, the freshman, could be returning punts and kicks. So it could be interesting. Brad says, Saul Heupel talking to the media at SEC Media Day, and they ask him, you have to drive the entire length of the field to win game. Do you take your college day staff or from Heupel, or do you take Hooker? Josh Heupel responded instantly with Hooker. They asked why. He said because he has a better coach. That was all. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's so much better. Yeah, and like I said, even Hendon Hooker came from Virginia Tech, who was coached under Justin Fuente. So, I guess it's a win-win for him either way. Yeah. But like I said, I'm excited for the most part of the season. Like I said, every team's going to have question marks throughout the season, and we're going to be honest. We're not coming out here, and I know there's a lot of over optimistic Vol fans that says we're going to run the table and win the SEC. We're not going to say that. Like I said, even Brad and I have different opinions on our record, but we come to agreement. We think Tennessee football is moving in the right direction. We're trending to a good place. Like I said, it's just going to be building confidence and beating teams week after week. Like I said, we saw glimpses of it last year. Stomping Missouri, stomping South Carolina. Like I said, and we got a really good home schedule this year. Like I said, we go to Georgia, go to LSU. Those are going to be 2 tough road games. You get Alabama at home, which we're hoping both teams go undefeated and we can get College Game Day in Knoxville for that. Kevin says, just ready to get going and play some football. Absolutely. I'm very excited right now. I'm in right now watching highlights on YouTube. Excited right now. Brad says second in the East. That's what will happen this year. I think so. It's funny to see. I'll say this: Kentucky, they have improved. Mark Stoops has done a great job in Lexington. Probably the best coach they've had in my lifetime. But I think this team is very overrated. Will Levis is a great quarterback. Chris Rodriguez is a good running back. Defense is good from time to time, but they can't win the big one. I mean, they're going to lose to Georgia. They'll probably lose to us at home. And then it's just I don't get the love on Kentucky. Matter of fact, back in the spring, I said don't be surprised if South Carolina is going to be the media hype train because of Spencer Rattler and the way the South Carolina ended the season and transfers and all that. Nobody's really talking about South Carolina. Everybody's talking about Kentucky as far as why the love they're getting. Brad says way overrated. It's blowing my mind the love they are getting. I know it. It's pretty crazy to think. I mean, I'm not trying to bash Kentucky. I'm not going to say they're going to go 6-6, but finishing second in the East with 10 wins, I just don't see it. I mean, they're going to beat the bottom tier SEC East teams, and I can't remember who their crossover game is this year in the West. I know they always get Mississippi State every year, but it's just Kentucky, especially when we play them. Kentucky's only won twice in Knoxville since 1984. They won it, obviously, in 84, and then they beat us during the COVID season. And Brad says, I'm trying to bash them and doing a little wave emoji. Yeah, we've had our fun with Kentucky fans over the years. Over the years, and even on our show, I've been to a Tennessee Kentucky football game and a Tennessee Kentucky basketball game where Tennessee has came on to win again, and they talk a lot of smack at the beginning, but then they hang their heads down at halftime because they know it's over. Brad says the worst fans. Oh man, we're probably getting that discussion again. Kevin says we just need to stay under the radar and boom, get them one at a time. Absolutely. And I know there's a lot. I'll switch this over to Tennessee fans. I know a lot of Tennessee fans kind of frustrated with some of the media picks. I know the Kentucky one has kind of ruffled us a little bit, but I like being under the radar. Not really a lot of people talking about us. I like surprising teams. Going back to Tennessee baseball, yeah, we got to Omaha last year, but did we really thought Tennessee was going to rise to number one in college baseball? Honestly, I didn't think so. But we surprised teams and, kind of build our own identity. And I think football can kind of go in that same direction too. Now, like I said, it's a tough league, a very top-heavy league with Bama and Georgia leading the way. But like I said, there's some really good upper average or really good teams the rest of the way in the SEC. And like I said, even in the SEC East, I think can be competitive to the West. Like I said, it doesn't take much to rebuild Florida or Tennessee or South Carolina, and you can see it with Kentucky. Like I said, they have the same resources as Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M's got. It's just, number one, Georgia's been dominating the SEC East for a while. I know Florida won a couple of times in between them. But, you can quickly turn a program around in the SEC in an instant unless you're Vanderbilt or maybe even Missouri. But like I said, I think it's going to be a fun season overall for the most part. All right, let's have a little fun here. So I mentioned this last week, and this is something I've been kind of thinking about doing on Ball Society Live, just trying to find a good time to do it. Oh yeah, Brad said, "Did you see what Vandy's coach said? Did you see Vandy's coach what he said? Yeah, talking about he wants them." He thinks they can be the best team in the nation or something like that. Try to make them the best team in the nation. Yeah, I knew what he meant. And, of course, every coach is going to say that. But it's kind of one of those, we all know the track record at Vanderbilt. They've been the constant bottom feeders forever. Bless Clark Lee. I don't know if he can get it done here. And Brad says, ha, 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 ha. And I'm going to hit the lotto. Yeah. Vandy's got a long ways to go. And not a short time to get there. To quote Smokey and the Bandit. He's bound it down. Anyway, so getting back to my other thing. So I'm going to give you my Mount Rushmore of Tennessee football. So I've been listening to various podcasts, and they talk about what's the Mount Rushmore of football players or movie actors or whatever. So I kind of took this idea, Who is the 4 representatives? So let's make an imaginary Mount Rushmore on the campus of the University of Tennessee or at Neyland Stadium. So who is going to be George Washington, Abe Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, Thomas? Who else was on the Mount Rushmore there? I just drew a blank here. Anyways, so who's the 4 names on, or which 4 individuals represents Tennessee football? So I'm going to give you my 4, then you can chime in along the way. First name, I'll get the obvious one out of the way, Peyton Manning. So Peyton Manning, a legendary player at the University of Tennessee, played at UT from 1994 to 1997. Came in, and Brad says Peyton Manning, yeah. Came in, like I said, started at, kind of came in halfway through the UCLA game. Brad's also said Reggie White. Came into the UCLA game, played pretty much the rest of the freshman year, kind of split time with Brandon Stewart, and then Brandon Stewart transferred to Texas A&M. And then, from his sophomore year to his senior year, just became an instant legend, classic moments, legendary moments, win after win after win. Of course, the biggest Achilles heel was he couldn't beat Florida. But 1997 won an SEC championship, followed, matter of fact, yeah, and then followed up, leading Tennessee to play in a national championship game, unfortunately losing to Nebraska. But like I said, just legendary. And Payne was one of the first, I guess you could say he was one of the first, NIL athletes, even though NIL was illegal at the time, because this was around the time, jersey sales and jerseys were starting to become very fashionable. Of course, kind of started in the 90s with the NBA, the NFL, and then college really took a hold of it. Peyton Manning was one of the first college athletes to have kind of his own jersey, even though it never said Manning on the jersey. But we all know what number 16 means. And I have a couple of Peyton Manning jerseys, and went on to have a Hall of Fame NFL career, and is a major celebrity in the sports world today. He's still, turn on your TV and you'll probably run into Peyton Manning across one of your 12,000 channels you probably have on your cable subscription, with, doing the Monday Night Football, Manning cast, and, Eli. And of course, I know it ties in with Arch now. But yeah, Peyton Manning is definitely up there. A great ambassador to the University of Tennessee. Still comes to the University of Tennessee, gives out scholarships. And I guess also a curse when it comes to him showing up for ball games. All right, so Peyton Manning is on my Mount Rushmore. Second name, General Robert Neyland. So General Neyland, obviously Neyland Stadium named after him. The guy, was coaching. Well, I shouldn't say the guy. This man, like I said, coached at the University of Tennessee, led Tennessee to a 1951 outright national championship. And then while he was coaching at the University of Tennessee, went and fought in 2 wars because, like I said, he was a general. And, you think of legendary images and legendary pictures of General Neyland, bending down on his knee and, just kind of observing everything, and just, you hear the name, Neyland Stadium, General Neyland, General Robert Neyland. Kind of one of the only coaches you don't hear Coach Neyland. You hear more General Neyland. So I have General Neyland in my Mount Rushmore next to Peyton Manning. The next name, Johnny Majors. Johnny Majors played at the University of Tennessee in the 50s. Like I say, runner-up to the Heisman Trophy, should have won it. Brad's Mount Rushmore is Peyton Manning, Reggie White, Jason Witten, Eric Berry. Those are great ones right there. So I got Johnny Majors, run up in the Heisman, should have won it. Went off to Pittsburgh, coach for the Pitt Panthers, led them to a national championship, and then Johnny came marching back home not too long afterwards. Had a bit of a rocky start coaching in Tennessee, but then became a legend at the end. Won an SEC championship in 1990. Just a legendary name in Tennessee. And then the fourth name, I don't know, this may cause some debate. Brad says Al Wilson. Gosh, I love that guy too. Yeah. So Brad threw out some great names. Reggie White, Jason Witten, Eric Berry, Al Wilson. I almost went with Reggie White. This may cause some discussion and probably some disagreement. But the fourth name on my Tennessee Football Mount Rushmore, next to Peyton Manning, General Neyland, and Johnny Majors, is the legendary voice of the Vols, John Ward. Now, John Ward is not a player and not a coach, and I get that. But I kept going back to John Ward. You think about the voice of the Vols, the voice of Tennessee, and I know John Ward called basketball games at the University of Tennessee, but just the greatest sound bites, greatest moments are narrated in John Ward's voice. You think about, no, sir. You said players? No, did I say players? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, then I will go with Reggie White then. But I think we need to kind of talk about John Ward too. I may have goofed that up too. Okay. So, yeah, I would throw Reggie White as far as players go. But if I had to go with in Tennessee football in general, I have to talk about John Ward. But you think about No Siree and Kevin laughing. Okay. I probably did. But, you think about No Siree after the Florida game. You talk, Holloway dies in the end zone. Give it to him. Give him 6. It's football time in Tennessee. I mean, just legendary calls all the way through. John Ward has to be in there. And Brad says, however, John Ward's the greatest to ever announce, period. Okay. So I probably did say players, but anyways. Yeah, then I'm going to go Reggie White. Reggie White, like I said, the Minister of Defense, was the school sack leader up until Derek Barnett broke the record a few years ago. Yeah. Okay. So you caught me on that one. I was trying to make this like defectable, and then I guess I messed that one up. But yeah. Anyway, so I guess if you had to do, Brad says, truly Ward is the greatest thing to ever happen to Tennessee. He was unreal. Absolutely. All right, well, I'll say this. If you had to do the entire Tennessee athletic department, Mount Rushmore, then I would go Peyton, John Ward, Pat Summitt, and then you can throw in either Johnny Majors or General Neyland. So there we go. Maybe I don't know if I'd really redeemed myself or not, but hey, I guess this is my Mount Rushmore, even though I probably said players. Brad said Phil. Yeah. As far as a coach go, yes. He's kind of on the borderline. He did win a national championship. Yes, Phil did win a national championship in '98. I guess it's one of the. Well, you can take my. So you can take John Ward off. No, this is a good topic debate right here. Like maybe we'll turn it over to Vols Society. Who do you think should be on the Mount Rushmore Tennessee football players or coaches or just Tennessee in general? Good little debate here. Like I said, former can definitely be in there. Kevin says mine is T. Martin, Peerless Price, Peyton Manning, and the General. Yeah, apparently on our Vols Society Facebook page, we should have just put Peerless Price 4 times the way he's beloved. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Kevin. So we've been doing the countdown to kickoff every day, showing some our VFLs. And, of course, we came across number 37, which is Peerless Price. And I knew Peerless was going to get a lot of likes and stuff. Peerless Price picture on our Vols Society page got 1,600 likes. That's the most likes we've ever had on our Vols Society page. The post in general just only got like 46. But Peerless picture got liked or loved 1,600 times. Brad says, Peerless, amazing guy. Peerless really is the greatest receiver. Absolutely. I mean, when we get to Peyton at 16 days to football time in Tennessee, I don't know if Peyton can get to 1,600. And I was thinking about this today. It's like, we love Peyton Manning and we love Eric Berry and Jason Witten and a lot of our VFLs, but Peerless Price is a name that doesn't really get recognized enough. And to be honest with you, I'm not saying this because of what's happened, but Peerless was definitely my favorite VFL growing up. I just really love how he played the game and kind of had a little bit of a swagger when he played. And I was just very tickled to death to see how much Peerless Price is just beloved with the Vol Nation. Brad says most iconic picture was Price looking behind, running down the sideline during the national championship game. It's right there. Maybe we'll do a debate of iconic pictures maybe down the road. But yeah, that, like I said, that big time touchdown catch in against Florida State in the championship game was, yeah, like Brad said, unreal. How that transpired. I'm happy to see Peerless up there. Like I said, he could probably be right there in that Mount Rushmore. It just shows that how rich of a tradition the Tennessee football program has been with players, coaches. You talk about John Ward, the voice of the Vols, and just everybody else tied into it. Yeah, and he said absolutely he could. Yeah, it's just remarkable. Just like I said, over 100 years of playing football, at Tennessee, and just we're truly blessed of how many great players have came through the University of Tennessee, and the future looks really bright, and I can't wait to see what Nico's going to do in the future, and Cam Seldon and Squirrel White and Shamron Umaron or whoever else to become future VFLs, and maybe we'll talk about them on a Mount Rushmore one day. I hope so. I'd love to get back to that and win national championships again, and I truly believe we're in the right direction. I don't know what year it's going to be, but like I said, we have the right resources, and it's just trying to keep everybody intact, and it's going to be very interesting to see. Any other questions? I can't believe I did say players. I had this great speech up for John Ward, and I probably did say players. Apple can do it. Yeah, I think so too. Any others? Been a very good premiere tonight. Thank you for everybody. Like I said, now we're 36 days away till it's football time in Tennessee. September 1st, taking on Ball State. Like I said, we've kind of broken down the schedule. We will definitely do a full-blown season preview in a couple of weeks on Ball Society Live. We'll do just kind of another for next week, we'll kind of do another, let you ask questions and kind of have a good discussion. And then that in 2 weeks, we will do the official Tennessee football preview, which I believe will be right during the same week as high school football getting underway. And our podcast is in the work, folks. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the Ball Society podcast coming this football season. Be myself, David Dees, Brad, our founder, and anybody else. We need to send out that picture of Peerless to his Twitter page. It's just the love and appreciation. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun tonight. Like I said, we talked about the violations with with previous coaching staff, but like I said, they're gone now, and we've recapped media days. Fall camp gets underway next week. Yeah. So on the podcast, Brad said we will chat each game week about the game. Okay, our cast. Yeah, absolutely, on the podcast. So I'm excited about that to bring you some more content through Vol Society. Like I said, y'all have been very faithful to us, especially this week, just coming to the Facebook page, really being positive about it. Of course, you're going to have some negative fans here from time to time, not Tennessee fans necessarily, but other fans that kind of want to ruin what we have. But, it is what it is. On our podcast. Yeah, okay, I got you, man. Now, yeah. Talking about chat each game week about the game on our podcast. Yeah, should be a lot of fun on that. Should be very entertaining. Like I said, Brad's more animated than I am. I'm finalizing the name of our podcast coming soon. Very good. Very good. Should be a lot of fun. Like I said, we're almost a month away, which is crazy to think. Matter of fact, I think week 0 is now a month away. Which, like I said, there's not a whole lot going on in week 0 necessarily, but you got football on the horizon. Brad says cannot wait. Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, I still think 9-3 so far. Like I said, we'll do a full breakdown of the season preview in a couple of weeks here on Ball Society Live. Brad still thinks 10-2 on the year. Like I said, I thought 6-6 last year, and Brad thought 7-5, and Brad turned out to be right at the end. Like I said, very excited to see how it's going to turn out. Couple of news and notes as we kind of rounded up. I mentioned on one of the summer break updates, switching to baseball momentarily, a guy named Reggie Crawford that was supposed to transfer to the University of Tennessee. He ended up getting picked up in the Major League Baseball draft with the 30th pick in the first round to the San Francisco Giants. He ended up signing with the San Francisco Giants, so Tennessee did miss out on him coming to the University of Tennessee. But best of luck to him in his Major League Baseball career. Timothy, I just got on here. Welcome, Timothy. Hey, thank you for joining us. Yeah. And then other baseball notes, I saw Drew Gilbert sign with the Houston Astros officially. I think Evan Russell and Ben Joyce signed with the Angels. So, like I said, players have until August 1st to sign with these ball clubs. So, as soon as we find out who may be coming back, we'll figure out who's going to be on the club next year. Tim says, I'm a big-time ball fan. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is the place to be, Timothy. We're glad you joined us tonight, buddy. It says, hi, go Vols. I just saw your comment earlier. Kevin says, we need a shirt with the logo on the poster in black behind you. Yeah, we'll come up with that. I've got, right now in my house, where I do the show, I've got like maybe 3 or 4 shirts right now. You will buy one. Absolutely. That'd be great. Yeah, how long you've heard about us, Timothy? I know we're kind of like multitasking here. Yeah, we'll definitely send your way, Kevin. Just reach out to us and we'll figure this out. Yeah, Josh Heupel is turning us around and real fast. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm very excited about this team, Timothy. I really love Josh Heupel. I really love how he really focuses on the program, making everybody better. Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, we're all excited about what he's going to bring to this team. Yeah. And he says we will be a powerhouse again. I think so. Like I said, it's going to take some time to get there, but like I said, we're looking very good. Like I said, still got Georgia and Bama on top of the conference, but like I said, go ahead and try to get up there next to them and then be competitive in the time to come. Kevin says, Timothy Law, finally someone that fits our culture. Should have beaten Purdue. Yeah, I agree. That touchdown call was ridiculous that Jalen Wright didn't get called. Should have beat him. I saw that the Purdue coach was talking about that bowl game last year at Big Ten Media Days, but I didn't really read much into it. Don't really care. We'll see how they do week 1 against Penn State. We'll see how that goes, and maybe. Yeah, should have been overtime. Absolutely. Brad says we will be reveling again, which is great. Yes. Yeah, I agree, Timothy. We should have had it, but now we got to focus on this upcoming season. What do you think our record's going to be, Timothy, for this year? And then we're happy you're here. Like I said, for me personally, I'm still looking at 9-3. Yeah. Any others? Been a lot of fun tonight. Like I said, next week we're going to be, like I said, we'll kind of do like we did with the season 1 finale. We'll kind of turn it over to y'all, ask some questions about the team, and have some good discussions. Probably won't do another Mount Rushmore. Who knows? Like I said, who's some of your favorite players and stuff like that. And then in 2 weeks, we will do a full-blown Tennessee football preview, big extended episode of All Society Live, and we'll break down everything. Timothy says, a big question is, can we beat Bama or Georgia, Florida? Florida, yes. I think if this is the year to beat Florida, this has to be the year. Like I said, new coaching staff at Florida, still trying to work out the teams, still working out the kinks of the team, and you get them at home. It's going to be a hostile environment. I think this, we've already went through our coaching change last year. We're already in year 2. I still think we can beat Florida. Bama and Georgia is going to be kind of a tough test, but I want to see them be competitive for the most part. We were competitive with them for the most part last year, but I think we need to really still be a thorn to their side for the most of the game. As far as the win goes, can't guarantee that, though. Games I'm going to this year from our founder, Brad, and he says we're definitely going to be Florida this year. I'm going to try. Like I said, I'm definitely going to the Missouri game, which happens to fall on my birthday on November the 12th. Definitely be going to that. I'm going to try to see if I go to the Ball State game. We got a thing at work that we have to do every year. Don't want to go too deep in my personal work situation because I don't like that. So we got a situation that happens a couple times a year at work that unfortunately kind of ties into the Ball State situation. But I definitely will try to go up as much as I can. Probably I would love to go to that Kentucky game. I think that's going to be a very interesting game, especially we'll kind of find out where Kentucky is by that point. Definitely will be second for the SEC East. And like I said, I'm trying to think of the rest of the schedule off the top of my head here. Bama, maybe. Depends on how both teams kind of look. Brad kind of answering Timothy's question. Not enough depth for Bama and Georgia. Kevin says he's with Brad, 10-2, maybe better. Timothy, yes. Should it be Pittsburgh? Yeah, I agree, Timothy. Should it be Pitt? I think if Hendon Hooker started that game, we would have definitely got the win. But, I understand at the time, well, kind of hindsight 2020, we kind of understood why Joe Milton started that game, but then didn't really work out for us. Like I said, that Pittsburgh team was very good. We should definitely beat Pittsburgh this year. I'll say this, Timothy. Like I said, not having Kenny Pickett there anymore. Jordan Addison's gone from USC to USC. They lost their offensive coordinator. Even though it's on the road, it's going to be a little tough, but I still think so. And Brad, of course, on our Ball Society paces, with Hooker starting, we would have won. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I think this year we will definitely get our revenge on the Panthers. Should be a lot. That's going to be the first big test for us this year. We're not going to get one with Ball State, obviously, but Pittsburgh's going to be kind of our first big test. Then we get a break with Akron. Should beat them very easily. We'll probably have a tougher game with Ball State than we do with Akron. And then Florida will definitely be that second big test. And like I said, I feel very confident about both of these games. When we go down to Baton Rouge, forget Vandy. Forget Vandy Candy. Vandy we should easily beat them. As a matter of fact, our goal is when we go down to Vanderbilt is just to fill that stadium full of orange because you're not gonna see a lot of black and gold shirts and Vandy stuff down there. We're gonna sell out that joint, which is not very hard to do. We've done it before, and I think we can do it again, especially if we're, going in there at 9-2. Brad says, I'm shocked they still have a team still. I know it. Vanderbilt used to be that, like the only people that used to love Vanderbilt was people. Remember when Jefferson Pilot Sports used to broadcast those SEC games back in the 90s and 2000s? It felt like Vanderbilt was on quite a bit, and of course, it was always like Georgia versus Vanderbilt, or us versus Vanderbilt, or Florida, or you'll have like Mississippi State and Vandy, or just something. Okay. So yeah, Timothy says 58-10 Vols going to beat Ball State. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a great prediction right there, Timothy. Yeah, he said, Brad says, haha, JP Sports Television broadcast. I know it. It definitely was, but it's kind of funny looking back. Like you didn't have an SEC network back then. You didn't have 12 hours of coverage of college football. So whatever game was on TV, you kind of had to take it as it were, even if the quality was recorded off of tin cans and some string. But yeah, with Dave and Dave on the broadcast. And Brooks and Dunn play something country at the beginning. Yeah. Brad says, join us this football season, folks. We will do predictions each week. Yeah. We'll do that as the season goes along. I'll give you my prediction. Brad's going to give you his predictions. And like I said, the podcast, we will provide it from there. And we'll hear from one of our other co-founders, Mr. D's, doing that. Florida. Timothy says 31-21 Vols over Florida. I guess that's where you're going with. That's a good one too. I can see that possibly happen too. We're going to learn a lot about Florida week 1 when they play Utah at the Swamp. Obviously, we'll learn about Utah too. We don't get them on schedule, but from a national perspective. But definitely, I'm interested to see how Florida will do. Like I said, I feel very confident. Like I said, if this is the year we're going to beat them, we're definitely going to beat them this year. If not, we got a lot of problems to that. Brad says too early for me to predict scores. Yeah. I mean, hey, Timothy's coming along with it. He feels confident. I'm happy for you, buddy. Fire away, definitely. Like I said, I want to see some of these games to see how they look. But yeah, that Ball State prediction, I can see that happening, definitely. Like I said, Ball State, they're a mid-tier MAC team. Akron was garbage last year. Florida, like I said, we all saw what Florida did. Like I said, Georgia and Bama is still very tough. LSU's kind of a big question mark to me, just to see how Brian Kelly's going to do. And then, the rest, I feel very confident about Missouri. South Carolina, we'll learn a lot about them pretty early on with Georgia. Any others? It's been very fun talking. We've won an hour tonight on the premiere of Vol Society Live. And like I said, tune in each and every week. Like I said, got a busy month of August coming up. Brad says LSU will be a game, but we will win. Okay, yeah. Yes, I was talking to somebody about that LSU game a while back, and they said if it's a night game, it might be tough, but if it's like a day game, then he feels very confident with that. So we'll see about that. LSU is kind of a big mystery to me because we know what Brian Kelly has done at Notre Dame, and now he's coming to a new environment. Last year, for the most of the game, we gave Alabama a scare. Yes, we did, that was one of the biggest surprises last year. Timothy definitely was that Alabama game, just like I said, hanging in there with them up until the fourth quarter. And it's very tough to win at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and not a lot of teams have done it since Nick Saban's been there. And for a team with a first-year head coach, and it's just, I was very proud of them. And the end result didn't work we wanted to be, but we definitely overexceed our expectations in that. Brad says, anything better than a college football Saturday? Absolutely not. I'm excited about it. It's probably the best 14, 15 weeks of the calendar season. Maybe 16, I guess, if you want to throw in some bowl games in the mix. I love it. Like I said, I know Brad gets up early and watches game day, and I'm kind of in the same way. I kind of have my traditions. I go to get some barbecue down at Navarro Steak. They call it a steakhouse, but it's really a barbecue joint. Navarro's Barbecue in Inglewood, Tennessee, a little hole in the wall. Go get a big bulk of barbecue and munch on that. throughout the day. Best time of the year. So if that's if I don't go to a game, if it's a road game or whatever, I try to get that. I'm just like y'all, just sit back and watch it. I may go to my parents' house and watch a game, and just like I said, it's very fun. Timothy says Brian Kelly doesn't have nothing on Josh Heupel. Yeah, and I hope you're right. Yeah. I know Kelly's had a lot of success, but hopefully at the end result it will be Heupel that will be remembered more. Bryce says we should do a discussion on what people's traditions are. Yeah, that would be great. Like I said, I kind of have if I go to a game, I'll kind of discuss this. Like if I have to go to a game, depends on what time the game is. For those that don't know, where I live, I drive to Foothills Mall in Maryville, and then I ride the bus from Maryville to Neyland Stadium, basically to save money on parking. It's a lot cheaper. I try to do the ball walk and, go through the tailgate area. My mom's work has a tailgate area I'll visit from time to time, maybe go down to Vol Village. That's where I met some of the autographs. I hate pointing, looking right there. But back there's my autographs. I've met several through there. And if Tennessee's on the road or on a bye week, I try to get like a big lunch. Like I said, Navarro's barbecue, or I'll go maybe order some pizzas or whatever and just kind of munch there on that the rest of the day. On a blue occasion, I may go to like a Buffalo Wild Wings or go down to a bar or well, I don't drink, but go get some wings or somewhere. And just enjoy the Saturdays because I just love being around the atmosphere and just seeing other people's perspective from it is a lot of fun. Timmy says Heupel's a good smart hire, and he says 38-31 the Georgia-Tennessee score. Wow. We'll see. That's a close game too. That's going to be a lot of fun. We see how our defense does in that. But all right. Any other questions or comments? It's been a lot of fun tonight. Maybe we should set up. Team that says I'm fired up. Like I said, I'm a big ball fan. I can tell, definitely. And I'm glad you joined us, Timothy. Like I said, make sure follow us on Vols Society, all across our social media pages, and tell all your Vol friends and family and whoever that support Vols Society. Brad says maybe we set up a Vols Society tailgate one of these days, and I come to game with the Vols Society fans like that. That'd be really cool. Plenty of areas to do tailgating down there. I'm for that. All right, so we'll go ahead and kind of wind it down. We went well over an hour. Thank you, everybody. Like I said, we'll be back here next Wednesday night. We're going to turn the show over to y'all, ask questions about the upcoming season. And then, like I said, this show will be kind of yours. And then in 2 weeks, the official Tennessee football preview with myself. Brad says keep the party going. Absolutely. I would, but I got to get to bed here pretty soon. The Kentucky game was very close last year. It's probably my favorite game last year there, Timothy. We're just getting started. Let's go. So, in 2 weeks, we'll do the official Tennessee football preview show. We'll break down the team. I'll give you my predictions. Brad said, just kidding. I know it. So like I said, it should be a lot of fun. August is going to be a very busy month. Make sure you're following along on Facebook, doing the countdown to kickoff every day. We'll have, like I said, we're at 36. We'll do 35 tomorrow. And then I'm trying to think of some other stuff. Like the podcast is on the way. Very, 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 very little selection of T-shirts. Hopefully we'll get our store launched pretty soon to get these out to y'all. And then whatever else T-shirt designs. I think the poster back there could be a design. We're working on 13,000 followers on our Facebook page, so please like our Facebook page, follow along. We'll get to 13K. I think we can get there. Yeah, UT Martin, really, absolutely. I know it. That's who we got for homecoming. I wonder if Martin Lawrence will be there at the game. Martin Lawrence. Okay, I got to quit saying that. I get a copyright strike for that. But anyway, thank you for everybody tuning in. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for everybody, for Timothy, for Kevin, Brad, everybody that's commented. Yeah, thank you for everybody tuning in. We'll talk to y'all next Wednesday night on Vols Society Live. Until then, have a great night and go Vols.